Hey, party people, welcome back to MVM. And yes, I'm standing in front of a green screen with a microphone here to talk about Arydia. This is by Far Off Games, and this is a 1 to 4 player adventure game. And it is in the vein of like 90s, 2000s RPG. So starting from like, let's say recent, like Sea of Stars, all the way back to ActRaiser, Legend of Zelda Adventures of Link, that kind of stuff. Legend of Mana. You're going to have these adventurers who are trying to gain their reputation back. And you're trying to get these squills by completing quests and going about the world and just discovering the world. Now, when I do this finer points review, I'm going to be talking specifically about like character development, the combat, the thematic ties, and the sense of adventure. So we won't be going into like straight on tutorials, but I will be explaining certain things, and I'll have pictures up here and some stuff from me down at the table. So it won't be like your traditional review. Hopefully you like it, and hopefully it won't be as long. All right. So let's go ahead and dig into my first point, which is the characters, okay? I want to talk about how characters develop and what does that feel like thematically. Character development in this game is quite interesting. So you start out with choosing a race and choosing a path. Okay, so there are I think 6 paths in the game, and they're kind of like all sort of hybrids. Like there's a healer, but they're pretty good at combat. You know, there's a bard, there's a arcana, there's like a warrior. I use the ranger type character and the shadow character. So you have these different paths, and even within those paths, you have your own chests where you'll get your own stuff. So you'll be developing. When you get certain rewards, you'll be able to get something from your own path as you develop, which means that you get stuff specifically for you, even though there's a general path. Now, what happens in this character development? Well, you get this triple thick board, and you get these triple thick boards, and they have places where you can put your belt and insert slots in there. And then you have your place where you can put armor and things like that so you can cover yourself and your belt. And then you have spots for your skills, which you'll have different skills that you're going to unlock during the game. I'll get there eventually, but they're going to be filling it up there as well. I think it's like 5 slots. And you just have so many different things. You got your standard skills, like you got wisdom, intelligence, that kind of stuff like that as well. So you'll be developing those too. You even have spots for experience points. So you'll be doing all that RPG type stuff, right? And you're going to be basically going about trying to, fight and do different things so you can get these skills, but you're also trying to develop that character. And when you get enough experience points, you'll go and you'll level up. And this is another part where the game just really opens up thematically, because you kind of become in tune with your player. You become in touch with your class, because what happens is when you spend your experience points, you can level up certain skills, certain attributes all the way up and kind of catch them up to where they are. So let's say you had like 1 in intelligence, but you're at level 4. You can slide that baby all the way up and catch it up. So it's got a good way of like bringing people in. If you want to bring in a person into the game and catch them up a little bit, you have, different character classes you can bring in. But one of the really cool parts about this game, and that level up system is, I'm kind of underrating it, is how you get skills. So it's very much like an RPG. You got these branching paths, right? And then what happens is as you unlock them, you'll put them in your board, and you have to like awaken them. They call it mastering. I'm just calling it awakening. It's like you got to have certain conditions happen. Like you got to be in shadow and move 5 spaces or something like that. And then you awaken this skill, and that skill could be the backstab. You have to be at a certain place. So you have to go to a certain place and do something. And then you awaken that skill. And as you master these, and you're kind of going off on a certain path. So you got to even choose the path within a path. And I just thought that was really cool. And it's down to actually how you look, because you have the classes' bodies. There's bodies. These are painted miniatures, and then they have painted heads that represent different sexes as well. So you put them on there, and you put it and you snug it in there. Really high quality stuff, and it gives that thematic touch where you end up like falling for your character in a sense. So it's got that feeling, and I just thought like overall that hits a home run. There are no bads for me in this situation. Absolutely 0 bads. Home run. I love my characters. I would love to add more. I just don't want to do 4. I have 3. I'm loving it. They even have race things that are going on. So you even have your own like little path story that you need to go on. And you'll have keywords and things that come up in that game. This is awesome. It's just flat out awesome. Okay. So let's just go ahead and move on to the sense of adventure, how this game opens up. And we'll talk about that. So I alluded to this. I talked about like, video games like Adventures of Link, ActRaiser. I don't know why. You know what? I've recorded this twice, and ActRaiser keeps coming up. You guys may be too young for that one. Okay, you may be too young for that one. You know, Sea of Stars, all this stuff. But you are going to start out on a tile, and the tile's in this triple thick boards, and you're going to be popping them out and literally flipping them over and discovering things. And as you move between tiles, you'll even have little events that will happen. The day is a certain way, so there's even day decks and stuff like that. Little decks to kind of give you some theme as you move along through the roughage or you stay on the road, and you can even see the road. So it gives you this little kind of thematic of like, ooh, you're going towards the mountains. You can see the mountains. Do you want to go towards the mountains? It's a little rougher there. You may have to risk something like that. And you're getting in there, and then you enter, let's say, a town. Okay, so you enter a town, and then you pull out these tiles, and the tiles are actually like they're cardboard cards. So you're going to be pulling the cards, the big cards, small cards, long cards out, and laying them in this formation. Now, I will tell you, good. That's cool because it tells you on the back, like, hey, you've come to this wonderful, nice little village with people, da 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 da. Before you enter combat, you are entering. You're surprised by this da 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 da. If you haven't done this, +5 to their combo meter right away. You're like, whoa, this is going to be a wild combat. So then you flip it over. You know you're going to be in a fight. Flip it over, you're fighting. So it gives you that theme. So then you flip it back over, and then when you flip it over, you have, let's say, a town. And then the town, you're even going to take little tiles out and put them on top of certain spaces in the game to cover them as well, because you're going to be walking through them, like, let's say, in like Stardew Valley. You're going to walk into a room, and then you take that tile, and it will tell you what the house is or whatever. You flip it over, and it will show the inside with the characters and the NPCs. And since you're in adventure mode, you can just kind of free roam about the country. And you go in there and you talk to people. Now, this is where the theme comes in, and there's a little bit of a miss, and there's a lot of hits. So what happens is you are going to have when I say like 1,000 cards, there's like 1,000 cards in this game. And you're going to pull them out, and let's say you're talking to an NPC. You pull out an NPC card, you'll look at it, and you have to read it. It'll tell you a lot of information about the character so you can kind of get in the theme. And that's what this game does. It's like, hey, this is a role-playing game. Think sort of like Ryan Lockett games, but not really, just sort of that feeling of like somebody read the card, be a little thematic, you make the choices. So if you're playing one player, that's gone. That's just gone. And also the element of you get this thing called role-playing points. So the person that gets to read gets the role-playing points. Or I don't even remember how that works because I haven't played with anybody. And I don't, unfortunately, I don't have to care. So I can just be like, all right, I choose this, look at the back. Well, nobody else is going to read it for me. So I got to just look at the back. And since you play the game so much, you're going to eventually get to that point where it's like, unless you make a bad choice and you want to live with that, I totally understand that. That would be cheating. Solo mulligans. All right, anyway. Maybe I'm admitting that I'm cheating. I don't know, whatever. But you do make some choices and you can't come back from them. So you got to like make a choice and do that. And you may have roles and stats like that. So try to stay in the theme there. Don't cheat like me, okay? But anyway, you're going to have those thematic moments. So there's a little bit missing there if you're playing just by yourself. But also if you have role playing, you're going to have some people kind of get into the theme a little bit to read these things. And there's also a benefit for it, which I do like. So it's like, hey, if you're the reader and you're doing this, you get a little benefit. It helps you with your dice roll. We'll get to that later. It's really like it's like a way to kind of make it better, right? But for one player, right? So you're going to be doing that, going about. You may get quests. So it's like you get a whole bunch of side quests. You can go to a town, and in that town, you go to a bulletin board. It's going to give you things to hunt, things to do, things that are surprising. And I'm not going to tell you about them because they are very surprising. And certain things happen. So you have all these different things that are very video game-like, side questy. And this game as a whole, as you go back out and you adventure, it's like a big old side quest. Yes, you need to get these squills and complete things, but that's how you do it. You go about and kind of like follow these little storylines. And the big arc and storyline opens up a certain way, but it's not 100%, like I haven't finished the game, but it's like, it's sort of like, just go about, like, do what you want to do. You'll get squills, man, like that kind of thing. Find out about your race and your background, like go do this and, take that there and go on this fetch quest and then hunt. Okay? Just hunt. Have a good time hunting tonight. Go on this, this fetch quest and bring something back, see what happens, right? Seems kind of interesting. Go down to this mountain, find something and go, oops, not going there anymore. Unveil a tile and you kind of get tired. Like that stuff's there. It's just in there. And with that being said, sometimes that may make you lose focus. I actually had a point where I got lost because I was so into the side questy thing. So picture yourself playing like a Ubisoft game. You got too many quests, or Skyrim, you're getting overloaded, or Witcher 3, you're getting overloaded. And you're like, I don't even know what to do next. I had to go to the Facebook group and be like, I have this, I have that, where do I go? It has that feeling in there too. And also with the adventuring, you're going to be pulling tiles in and out. And although they have organization, places to put them and whatever, since you're going to be going in and out of those towns, you almost don't want to put them back. So now we're talking about space and organization. There's some organization, but if you're not organized like me, still going to struggle. So think about that. The sense of adventure, very good, but also keep those things in mind. Another major point is combat, because without combat, this game does not come together. So let's talk about combat. Combat can be hit or miss in games. Sometimes combat is the dullest part, and the RPG elements and all that other stuff is great. See Solomon Kane. Whew, that game was awesome. Combat. Anyway, so here we are. Combat, you are, say, walking on a tile and it tells you like, hey, you're about to fight, I don't know, the captain. Okay, like the captain and his warthogs or something like that. Okay, just feel me on that. I'm trying not to spoil anything. Trying to keep it in the first 20-hour-ish talking frame here. And so you're going to go into combat and you'll have these different foes. The foes have their own cards. You'll lay them out. And on those cards, they have like hit patterns with little pieces in between. Some of them will have shields on them. You'll get to see their attack patterns. You'll also find out how they activate and things like that. You also find out what you get when you beat them. Okay, so easy to lay it out. Very easy to understand. You pop them out, and that's the thing. The reveal of them is just like in a video game. Let's say you've never seen the enemy before, so you go pop them out of there, and they have their painted miniatures. And there's definitely enough variety in there. It's not samey. It's not really that samey. There are some characters that are used over again, but it almost feels like if you're there, it would make sense that those same type of enemies would be there. And as the game expands, ... Okay, so just to give you an idea of how that works, but also how it develops when you're actually in combat. So you have your combat deck, and that combat deck is going to represent how the enemies attack. So they'll have their own cards. You'll flip over a card when it's their turn to attack. They go first. So it's like they flip it over, and depending on where their combo meter is, and we'll get to that point, they will do certain things. There are mobs, which are your general enemies. You have your boss, which is the big one, if there is a big one. Or they just have threat, which will just go up that track. For you have the same thing. It's like your version of threat, but it's like combo. So you're moving that up when you move, or if there's certain skills that move that up. Not going to dig too deep in that one either. But what you're doing is on your turn, you're going to have 2 actions and a minor action, and you'll be placing those pieces on. You'll be placing those action pieces on your weapons, your tool belt, your feet, so that represents you moving to help you move your meter up, and your skills, because you're going to be activating those awesome skills that you've been unlocking and waiting to use. And sometimes you got to put yourself in those conditions so you can master the skills and be able to unlock and see what they do. So you have that ability. And that right there alone makes the combat awesome. I'm going to get into it. But when you're ready to fight, you're going to be placing your action token on the weapon. And when you place it on the weapon, every weapon has a pattern, okay? It has like a little arrow, and it'll say like this way, that way, okay? So it'll say this way, this way, this way, and then one to the right. So it has like an attack pattern. And the enemies have attack patterns where their attack points are. But in between them, they have combo spots where if you cover that through there, you actually get like another combo space. So you kind of can chain them together. But with each weapon, and like I said, you have your own chest with your own weapons and also general ones, has different patterns on them. And it kind of leans into your thematic touch, and you're going to have to play with that. Maybe you want to have this different type of weapon for certain patterns because they do get pretty wacky with the patterns. And then they also have certain skills that attack through shields or destroy shields. So there's that little puzzle of how we're going to pull this off and how we're going to work together. Now, with that, there is a combo meter. The combo meter, really tricky stuff here. I'm kind of in and out on it. So the combo meter is going to develop as you press, and we're just going to say general sense, just walking. So you use your minor action to walk, you move one up on the combo meter. If you get your combo meter high enough, you can use one of the skills that you have. You spend it. What I wish would happen is if you got the combo system, the combo up there, then, if one person spends it, then the other person doesn't get to do their cool moves. I don't like that, okay? I wish if you had 4 combo, everybody got to use anything that's 4 combo or less. Now, the game's not balanced that way, but I would have loved it to be that way. It's just a little nitpick that I have. It didn't bother me. You still get to get cool moves off. You still get to cooperate and do some interesting things. It's like once you get that cool move off, it really sets somebody else up to knock it down. So it's not a big deal. And you got your special points. You got your role-playing points. And really what this comes down to is you're rolling that D20. You're either in or out on D20. As long as you don't roll 1, you don't fail. And the better you do on your roll, the more of that pattern you get to attack with. It's just like its own little awesome puzzle. I cannot describe how awesome that is. Just having the weapon diversity in this game, that alone makes it epic, and it makes it memorable, the combat system. There was some feedback in the beginning about this, and they really addressed it. But even further, they have cards that explain everything. They explain your skills. You get the cards. They have a walkthrough of each path's combat, so you even understand how they work. They do a really good job with pictures in the rule book to give you an idea. There's some stuff that's kind of edge casey, but for the most part, the combat is really freaking good, and it's understandable. As long as you're not cheating. I made some mistakes, folks. I really made some mistakes in this game. All right. Probably saying something wrong now. Don't kill me in the comments. Anyway. But the combat is that tactical back and forth. You get to feel really cool moments. I would say if you're solo, there's a little bit of cheating to it in the sense of like you could hit, run away, kind of bring people to you, hit, run away if you kind of play it right. I thought that was kind of a dud, but it doesn't happen all the time because things can close distance on you. Watch out for those Warthog guys. They can run forever, so it's not like you can just kick butt. But it might be you and one-on-one and a big guy. You can kind of stand back, maybe shoot, stand back, shoot, run, that kind of stuff like that. That's standard game affair sometimes, right? You can kind of do something cool. You've played Solid Snake before. You know you can do cool stuff sometimes, get away with it. All right, so that's really the combat. Now, hopefully I gave you a round of like the real big things in this game, but I'm just going to get to my final thoughts so you know exactly how I feel about Arydia. Now, with final thoughts, this game is absolutely accurate. It has so much more good than bad going on. So let me just get to like the things that I want to reiterate on. You're going to feel a little bit out of touch. It's like, where am I supposed to go? Because it doesn't say like, hey, this is a hard theme. You're doing this one thing, go there. It doesn't feel like that. At least it doesn't feel like that, right? Also, the organization trays for just the tiles part, because you're going to be taking those in and out, short, long, small, big. You're trying to figure out what to do when or how to organize it because you don't want to take them in and out, in and out, in and out. The card system, though, for the cards, having those slots to put things in, saving in this game is very easy. Those things, I should kind of counter that point. They counter each other. The game is kind of decky. You're going to have a lot of decks. Thankfully, they have that organization system, but just keep that in mind. The combo system, I'm still on the fence about. I'm thinking as I'm talking, and I'm like, yes, no. I'm still on the fence with it. I do love the reveal in this game. It definitely has this like going in and punching and getting those figures, going in and having role-playing moments, and I did not say this, where you get to change your name and different things about you. So it can be like, Jeremy the Silent or Jeremy the Farter or something like that, like that kind of stuff. So it's kind of like it gives you more of a thematic touch to who you are. And those details matter. You have things where you have keywords that you need to find. And if you find them, you unlock something. So like I said, very side questy. That's why this game has that special loop to it, because you feel like you're in a video game adventure. And that's the thing. Do you want all that upkeep? I do, but I also got tired of it sometimes late at night. Maybe I was playing too long. Maybe it's just a game. Some people would say, hey, this is a video game, not a board game. I totally understand that. But what I would say to you is this. I am one of these people. I have Monster Hunter, the Wilds. I bought it. I haven't played it yet. You know what I have played though? I would rather play Monster Hunter, the board game, which I absolutely loved, right? So it's that's the thing. Elden Ring. Haven't played Elden Ring in a year and a half. Dying to play this new Elden Ring board game. So I'm at a stage in my life where I'm playing board games more than video games, and I'm fine with the setups and teardowns. That's in the management of it all. Just to give you that. With that being said, it's like I have a save game on my table right now because I've had it for over a month and it's still right there on my table. That's how serious it is. So that just gives you an idea of how I feel about this game. Now, I think the cost proposition is important to bring up. So let's talk about it. The game is $249. I'm not sure if it's free shipping or not. You get the Epic Hunt, I think, with that, different bodies and stuff like that. I would tell you, if you have Elden Ring, you have Tidal Blades, Fate Forge, and you haven't played all of them, I don't know if I can just tell you, hey, add it. I know some of you don't even care. You're going to add it anyway. You just want the next game. But I would say play some of those, buy, sell them, and then get this one here because you're in for a ride. If you like those types of games, you already own those types of games, then you're going to be in for a ride with this one. You're going to enjoy this one. I know you are. I'm just not telling you to buy it. I would tell everybody to buy Kingdom of Death Monster, but I'm not. It's a $400 game. And this one here is going to be added to the list of hell yeah, buy it, okay? This game is a homage to all the action RPGs that we loved as a child and young adults. I'm telling you right now, to this day, this makes me feel like we're in the golden age of action RPGs. That's what Arydia does for me. And I mean that with all my heart. They did it. That's what they were looking for. They did it, okay? So hopefully that gives you an idea how I feel. The cost proposition is up to you. I just want you to know that's how much it costs. And with that, party people, I want you to take care. You have a wonderful day. Hopefully I gave you some information that will help you make an informed purchase. But I give this game the highest recommendation. It is excellent. If I was giving it a score, I'd give it a 9.5. There's the small things that bug me is small. Okay? Some of that's even on me. This is a damn good game. Hopefully I helped you. You take care. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you know what ActRaiser is. Let me know if you know Grandia. What was your favorite Grandia? Tales of Symphonia? Any of those games. What were your favorite action RPGs? And also, the people who own it, tell us how you like the game. Tell us what you like about it, what you don't like about it in the comments. All right, party people. You take care and have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining me on MVM. See you next time.